Hello everyone, and welcome to another DML training video. I have with me today Rowan. Rowan is a circulation student here at the HSU library, and I am Bernard Fosnaugh, a staff worker here at the HSU library as well. And today we're going to be talking about our GoPros, the Hero 6s that we have. We have 4 of them that came in, and they are in really high demand. And so today we're going to be talking about all the different parts and how we check them out and how we check them in, and a few details about how to use them.
Yes, so in the front desk we usually get some patrons asking for GoPros, and they sometimes ask about what generation they are. The one we have, they are 6th generation. And we would check if we have any available, and if there is available item, to check it out for them. You will bring this little bag. Make sure when you open the bag and to show the patron the items that it included inside of the bag. Make sure there is a thick part in the bag, and then there is a thin part. Make sure the thin part is to the top, so when you open it, the items inside, they are not all like out and flipped
upside down.
Yeah, upside down.
Yeah.
Also we have here each equipment in our lab has a list tag or an item tag, and it has all the items listed in it, so you can actually record and see what are the items here when you check the item to the patron.
Yeah. So let's go through the steps of checking one of these out.
Yes.
What would be the first thing you do?
We will first look at the camera if it's inside the bag, for sure, and make sure it has all the equipment attached to it. So it has the mountain,
The buckle mount?
the buckle mount and the screw. Make sure it is there, and then we will.
Yeah, those disappear quite a bit because they're not really on the items or the inventory list, but they're connected to the case itself. So definitely want to take a look to make sure that that is at least with the case when we're checking it back in.
Yes. Now we will open the case. It's
There's
a little
flat mount on top that you pull up.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard. Make sure that you don't break it. Just be gentle when you're opening it. It's a little bit hard, but make sure that if you don't know how to open it, ask case staff to open it with you, so it's not broken or it get damaged. So you'll just pop it out the camera.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of finicking and pushing, to get that thing to come straight out. But eventually it pops out.
Yes, and you will press on this a little bit and push it out. It will open. As you see, there is the battery. You will just slide it out, and then in the top here you will see the card, the memory card. Push it down, take it out, and make sure it's there. Don't check out an item to a patron without the SIM card because it's actually included in the items tag. So those are the equipments that attach to the camera itself. And then we have another a camera mountain that you will attach the camera itself to
use this attaching it to a tripod.
To a tripod, yes. We have additional battery with it, and we will get later when we return the item what we should do with the battery. We have also a
clip mount.
A clip mount, a clip mount, and it could be used like for if they want to staple it somewhere, just have it there. For the camera, they can use this one like that, and then put the camera. We have the little tripod. Mini tripod with it, and it's flexible. They can adjust it the way they want, how far they want it from the service they put it in. We have a wrist mount as well.
This is a really neat little mount that a patron can use. You can show them that there's a little locking mechanism on it, where they can unlock it and then rotate the camera any way they want to. For instance, if it's like on a bicep or something, they can rotate that camera at the angle that they want and then lock it back down in that position. So, very handy.
Also for bikers, we have the bike mount here, and it has also a screw in it. Make sure it's back. Sometimes patrons will forget, or they will just not include it with the items. Make sure it's there before the patron leaves the table. We also have the head
mount.
A head mount, and it's actually, you wear it this way.
Yeah.
You put it this way, and it will be attached right here. So those are the items that inside of the bag. As well, we have a floating hand grip with a screw on it too. This one for oceanic trips. If you are going, underwater, or if you're recording something in, like when you go to the beach or something like that, it's adjustable. They can adjust it. This is to make sure that if in case it slips through their hand, it doesn't sink under the sea. It will float up the surface. We also have here a little cable, charging cable for the camera, and we have here a hand selfie stick, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, this one extends out quite a ways. It's a maybe a 3-foot selfie stick.
Yes. Make sure there is a card about what is the item. It's called
info card.
Info card, and it has all the equipments listed, and in detail how they can download the GoPro app to download their pictures or videos that they are taking, or they can have it just like there while they are recording.
If you notice that these cards are starting to get really worn and crumpled and such, you can always replace them, and especially if it's not even in there. Very important to replace it. And it's going to be copies of them in the digital media equipment manual folder with copies of them. And if for some reason you run out of them, just ask a staff person. We can make you more copies of them. But very important that info cards always with these digital media equipment.
And the same thing to turn off the camera. You will just push and hold the start sign, and it will beep 3 times, and then it's off. Now, when you return the item, when a patron returns the item, please ask them nicely to wait for a second before you clear it out of their account, to make sure that the case has all the equipment there. You want to make sure.
It's much easier to let the patron know that there's something missing if they're standing right in front of you, versus having to give it to a staff person, and we have to email them and track them down. It's much harder. So definitely ask them to stay there with you.
Yes. Make sure, as I mentioned earlier, that it has the yes, and it has the screw on it. The cover is not broke. The camera lens is clean, not scratched. There's no breakout on it or anything. Turn it on and turn it off to make sure it's functioning well.
Yeah, you'll check it back, and you'll definitely want to check, take it apart and make sure the battery and the SD card is
Yes, yes. And when you take it out of the cover, you will remove the battery, the SIM card, and you will place the SIM card in the used cards box, so it can be cleared and ready to be replaced with a new card.
Yeah, it's very important that you do that step when the item is checked back in, because sometimes people will take the card out, but they won't put a new one in. You know, they might think that when someone's checking the item out, they'll put a new one in there. But
Yes.
you want to have it ready to go for the next patron. So
Yes.
always put a new one in when you check them in.
Yes. Also, when you remove the battery to recharge it, make sure to take the extra battery with it and also recharge it. Also, we have a charging card, and you will place it with the item when you return it to let the other person, before they check out the item, that the item is the batteries for this item are charging, to replace them back to the bag before checking them out.
It's nice to clip them onto the item tag right here.
Yes. And now we will put the items back.
It helps if you put the items in the same spot each time, because it makes it
Easier,
quick and easy
yes.
to identify this stuff.
Also, the bags come with a little cloth to clean the lens. It's not listed in the item tag, but it's nice to have it there. However, if the item is returned without it, it's not a big deal. Just notify a supervisor or a staff member that are on the front desk with you to replace the lens cloth.
And so then we got the tripod.
And the
floating hand grip.
Hand grip.
Usually goes in the top pouch on top.
Yes. The cable, the charging cable.
Also goes on the top pouch.
We got the clip mount.
Yeah. Usually in the bottom right corner.
The selfie stick.
Goes on the top pouch also.
Yes. The head strap mount.
Yeah, it goes on the left side.
The rest mount.
Also on the left side.
And bike mount, and they all come with a screw. Make sure the screw is attached to it before you return the item from the patron. The camera mount,
or tripod, round tripod mount.
yes,
Goes in a little pouch on the middle right side. You put it in there upside down.
and the extra battery.
On the top right side.
And that's all for the GoPro, and hopefully you know more right now about the GoPro 6. Also, some students sometimes will ask to check out a tripod with it, and sometimes they do have experience, but sometimes they don't, and they will ask you, how do I attach it to the tripod? So to show them, just to place this a little tripod on the table, open this little lever, and take this out.
So this is called a camera mount, and
Yes.
you definitely want to make sure, especially when you're checking them in, that it's there on the tripod. That's the number one thing that disappears. So definitely want to have those with the tripod.
Yes.
And then you'll
You
take
will
the
take
tripod mount.
The tripod mount. Stick through it to here, very secure.
And if it does just spin and seems like it's not screwing in, you can grab the very bottom has a little lever thing that you can grab onto and twist on if it's not screwing on properly.
Yes. And then we'll grab the camera. We will remove this little screw here. It will enable us to remove it like that. And then we will place it here. They will bring
You want
this.
to line the holes up
Yes.
with each mounting the camera.
We'll bring the screw, have it inside, and now it's attached. Now we will show them that we will open the lever again, place it, close it. Also, mention that it is adjustable.
Yeah, if you loosen up the little clamps, you can make nice pans with it as well.
They don't have to actually carry the tripod with them and then move the camera to take an entire view or a recording. They just have this little hand grip here, and then they can just like rotate the camera smoothly.
Brings up a good point too. When people do loosen these things up, sometimes they don't tighten them back down, and they'll actually loosen all the way up and then fall out. So when you're checking these items in, it's a good thing to also double check for the screws and such on that.
Yeah.
So we covered all the different parts of the GoPro, and we covered how to put it onto a tripod. And it's always great to offer to the students and patrons different accessories that they might need with the GoPro.
Yes, because sometimes when they check out the item, they get the GoPro, they sometimes will need extra accessories with it, and they don't really know that we do have these items available for them. So it would be a really great gesture just like to ask them if they need more accessories with the GoPro, and to show them what we have available for them. And they might actually end up checking out the accessory bag with the GoPro.
Yeah, we have tripods, of course, and we have 2 GoPro accessory bags. And the accessory bag has a lot of the parts that this kit has, but a few other things that might be very handy for them. For instance, a gooseneck clamp.
Yes, so they will attach this neck to whatever they are trying to attach it to, and this neck can move really to a low direction to a very straight or right.
Very adjustable.
Very adjustable. And the way they will attach it is by
just using a buckle mount.
yes, this one, and it will just be they will need just to do it a little.
It just slides on there.
It's a little bit
Actually, on this one, you'd pop up this little guard that's on here. There's a little plastic guard on this buckle here. It's to help prevent the little clips from breaking off. And to attach it, you would just lift it up a little bit, like that, and then slide it onto the buckle mount.
okay.
Like that.
Yeah. Yes. So now it's attached, and they will be ready to go for recording.
Yeah. So one of the things that this bag contains that the other kits don't contain are a couple different types of buckle mounts, GoPro mounts that they might be handy for. One of them is a 90-degree mount This is really handy if they want to clamp the camera onto an object, but they need their camera to be 90 degrees to whatever they have it clamped to. So this is really handy sometimes. And this one here just gives them a different angle. So
Yeah.
if the normal buckle mount is getting into their shots or something, getting in the way, this one has a slightly different angle that they can use. So,
Yes. Yeah.
pretty handy. The accessory bag also contains, also a mini desktop tripod as well as a selfie stick. Oh, that doesn't go there. So, that's all the different parts and everything of the GoPro Hero 6s. Thank you very much, Rowan, for helping me out here today.
Thank you very much. And if you have any questions again, or if you don't know how to check out an item to a patron, please ask a supervisor. As well, when an item is returned back, ask the patron to wait nicely for a minute to check that all the items are returned. And if there's any item that is missing or broke or anything, ask a supervisor to come to talk to the patron and have everything done while the patron is present. Thank you very much, and hopefully this was helpful for you.
Thank you. See you next time.